Hi and welcome back to Down the Shed with me, Jason. So we have a notice of acceptance of challenge from Wiltshire Council, but to better that I've got an email, so I'm going to put the email up first. Right, just in case that isn't clear. Dear Mr. Naylor, the centre of town is a restricted parking zone, RPZ. This means that there is no parking except in designated parking bays. Parking anywhere else is a contravention of no weighted restrictions, the same as parking on yellow lines. However, in an RPZ, yellow lines do not have to be marked. The picture shows a sign as you enter the centre of town advising that motorists are in an area of restricted parking. The signs in Drummer Lane are repeater signs reinforcing the information provided on the entrance to the RPZ. Further information on RPZs may be found here. Please be assured that Wiltshire Council is enforcing the restrictions correctly within town. Any questions, please let me know. So, today I have received communication from Wiltshire Council, which I shall read. Obviously I'm going to blurt out my own address on there. They've sent me the pictures that the parking enforcement officer took of my vehicle, and I said it was parked roughly on that drain in the last video. And they've also put a picture of the parking. As you can see, as in my pictures before, that sign is not acceptable, it's too high and it's damaged. So I shall read this BS quickly. The Civil Enforcement of Road Traffic Contraventions Approved Devices Charging Guidelines and General Provisions England Regulations 2022. The Civil Enforcement of Road Traffic Contraventions Representations and Appeals England Regulations 22. Dear Mr. Naylor, in respect of penalty charge notice, vehicle registration, date of contravention, location, contravention 01, parked in a restricted street during prescribed hours. Thank you for your challenge in respect to the above parking charge notice, which was received on 12/8/2025, the same date as the parking ticket. The PCN was issued correctly. The vehicle was parked in a restricted street during prescribed hours. It is the responsibility of the driver to acquaint themselves with the parking restrictions enforced upon the highway before leaving the vehicle, and to ensure that the vehicle is parked in accordance with them at all times. I take note of your challenge and the situation underlined within it. However, the centre of town is a restricted parking zone. This means there is not parking except for the designated bays. As the RPZ covers the centre, yellow line restrictions are no longer needed. On the exit and entrance to Drummer Lane, there are repeater signs, the one I just showed you. There are repeater signs present which reinforces the restrictions and information provided. Those signs are not legal, and I'll put another bit up in a moment. However, on this occasion I can inform you that your challenge has been accepted and the PCN has been cancelled. Please note this does not set a precedent, and future PCNs issued in similar circumstances may not be cancelled. To me that says the council knows that they haven't got a leg to stand on, and if I took them to court or refused to accept their decision and appealed it, refused to accept that decision depending on which way it went, and then we go to magistrates court, basically 50%, 56% of all magistrate court appeals side with the driver, not with the council. So they were in a 44% chance of winning this at the end of the day, and according to my information, they didn't have a leg to stand on anyway. So signs must be designed and installed so as to be conspicuous and legible in all lighting conditions during which the controlled land may legitimately be accessed, at a height that takes account of whether the signs are intended to be viewed from the vehicle, including by headlight in the hours of darkness, or having left the vehicle by a driver on foot or in a wheelchair. For example, in car park premises open to the public in the hours of darkness, lighting of the premises and or signs might be necessary depending on the location of the signs in order to meet test of prominence in the Consumer Rights Act 2015. If there is more than one sign, all should be consistent with regards to typeface, style, size and weight, colour and layout. Signs must be designed and maintained to withstand and remain legible, subject to normal exposure to conditions where they are located. Note, for example, weathering, bleaching by sunlight, accumulation of dirt or being obscured by growth or foliage. Basically, the signs in that street are not of a suitable height to be seen on foot, or especially not in a wheelchair. and after 4 o'clock in the winter, and the parking restrictions are from 8 AM to 6 PM Monday to Saturday. So after 4 o'clock when it's dark, you are not going to see those signs by headlight. Therefore, they're not legitimate. The council need to lower the signs or light them and make them prominent to be seen by drivers. Then at the top of this one, 3.1.3, signs within controlled land displaying the specific specific terms and conditions apply and must be placed within the controlled land such that drivers have the chance to read them at the time of parking or leaving their vehicle. They are so high, they're not going to be seen. So these are the basic signs that are at ground level. These are mostly acceptable. So here's another one. The restricted zone and the Monday to Saturday signs are back to front on the last sign, but they're acceptable. They're pointing out where the zones are. This is one of the signs that's way too high and badly weathered on Drummer Lane. And this is the opposite sign, again too high and badly weathered on Drummer Lane. Not acceptable. And the last sign's location, this is Drummer Lane itself. You can see the grate where I was parked just before the bay that was full. Again, not acceptable signage. So this is the opposite end of Drummer Lane. You can see I've arrowed where the other sign is. There's one on the opposite side of the road to that. They are acceptable in quality but not high. So this is the main street. These are the two parking bays. My car is the second one on the left. The nose of my car is at the entrance to the taxi rank. There are no markings for the taxi rank. You can just about see one of the signs really high up, and it's been twisted round by an irate member of the public who got a ticket. On the opposite side of the road, the entire bay is 30 minutes stay, no return within an hour. Again, apart from the signs, there is no markings for that parking area. In my book, even though the whole zone is an RPZ, that should still be clearly marked, especially the taxi rank, which hasn't been used as a taxi rank since 2020. Here we have one of the many signs which is unacceptable. There is no 30 minutes on there. The M for Monday, the A for Saturday is missing. That sign is defaced and damaged. It should be replaced or removed. Now I consider this unacceptable. On the middle pillar there you can see a 20-mile-an-hour zone and a left arrow. We know you drive on the left in this country. We're not bloody idiots. I know it's an army town, but even they know we drive on the left. On the left pillar you'll see 20-mile-an-hour zone, and you'll also see the restricted parking zone sign. That should be on the middle pillar where the arrow is. That is not acceptably visible to drivers. You're not looking over there on the left, you're looking straight ahead, or you're looking around you, vehicles pulling out of parking bays, pedestrians crossing the road. That parking restriction sign should be on the centre one, bang on the driver's view. No necessity for that arrow to be on that pillar. We know you drive on the left. What you're going to do, go around the pillar and drive head on into that car coming down the hill. That arrow is where the restricted parking zone should be. Right, so you've probably gathered I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about this parking in my town. It's not bloody acceptable. Those parking bays should be marked, white dotted lines like the one round the corner. The signs shouldn't be weathered and defaced. The parking enforcement officers are aware. Oh, Sherlock's hijacking again. They're aware. I've made complaints to them. Those signs need sorting out. Until then, they're not legally enforceable because they're damaged or defaced. Oh, Sherlock Bones. Here's a bit of video. You're gonna see everything I've showed you again, but it's gonna be on actual video. So enjoy. Say goodbye, Sherlock. Say goodbye. But these bays have no markings. They do have signage. Again, no markings. And you'll see as of the front of my car, we're in a taxi rank. So these vehicles are legally parked, but still no markings. No markings over here. Here we have the D restriction.
you'll see the 30 mph signs and the keep left. There's no need for a keep left sign there. We drive on the left in this country, we know that. So according to the British Parking Association, all signs should be clearly visible and marked for the driver. Now that middle bay has a keep left sign on it, which as British drivers we know, when you pass your driving test you drive on the left. You don't drive up the right hand side of the road, especially with oncoming vehicles. That sign, right on the left side of the road, which you can see is tucked right in by a railing. If you're driving up the road, that's not clearly visible because you're on the right hand side of the car, and you'll be looking pretty much at that, not into there. And if you are looking into there, then you could end up hitting another car or pedestrian. So you're worrying about the road, that sign should be in the middle bay or the middle bollard where the arrow is. There's room to put the arrow lower down. That sign should be in the middle. That's not clearly visible to drivers in my book. This is the bus lay-by. No stopping except buses. Again, that sign, it's weathered, it's defaced, that's not acceptable. That's one of 4 signs that is not acceptable. Again, no marked bays. There's signage like the ones we've seen before, but the bays aren't marked. No stopping except buses. And another defaced or missing sign. Again, not acceptable. That's not correct. So that's now 5 signs that are incorrect. One there, one down there, the one over there with the missing 30 minutes, the 2 round the corner. Again, one sign, not even facing in the right direction. The next sign, so you have the sign up there, the sign up there, the next signs are all the way down there. There we go. Now that's a correct sign, it does have the blue red circle on it, but look how far away it is from the entrance. There's the entrance, 2 signs. The next signs are all the way up there. There should be more signs than that. They're not clearly visible. They're so high. Look, they're at the eaves of that roof. That's too high for driver visibility in the vehicle or a wheelchair. They can't be seen in the vehicle headlights when it's dark. So parking between 8 AM and 6 PM. So in about 6 weeks it's going to be dark at 4 o'clock. You'll tell me your headlights can see that sign at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, clearly visible to the driver. It's bullshit, man.
Right, I'm enjoying an ice cream. I like ice cream. So that's it really. There's no marked bays whatsoever. There's no restricted zone markings apart from the signs, which are so high. They're not clearly visible on foot or in a wheelchair. They're certainly not going to be visible in the dark with headlights. As far as I'm concerned, this town is a piece of shit. So's the council and the way they deal with the parking enforcement. Every day last week they sent that blooming one of the PEOs here just to piss me off. Fine, do it. I'm just going to make sure people are aware. Appeal it. If it's the first time, you'll get away with it. The signs are too high. Half of them are defaced. It's not acceptable. Check your information with the likes of the British Parking Association, BPA website. A lot of the information I've got is from there. Do your homework. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. It was a one-time ticket and I got out of it. So, happy days. You take care of yourself, park carefully, and I'll see you in the next video.